President Bola Tinubu has backed the re-election bid of Amaju Pinnick into the Council of the International Federation of Association Football, FIFA. Pinnick, two-term president of the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, was elected into the council in March 2021, the third Nigerian after the late Oyo Orok Oyo and Dr. Amos Adamu. The FIFA Council is the principal decision-making organ of the organization in the intervals of the FIFA Congress. The council comprises 37 members elected by the FIFA Congress for a renewable term of 4 years. Joining us now on the morning show as we take a look at the re-election bid into the 37-member FIFA Council and review the activities of the Super Eagles of Nigeria is Amaju Pinnick, OFR, and two-term president of the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF. Good morning. Good to see you.
Thank you for always having me. This is home to me now.
Yes, sir.
Well, quickly, two things. You support indigenous coaches. I think that would be a correct thing to say. And the other time you were here, we were saying, oh, you supported Finidi George and all that. But one guy called Usman Abdallah says, look, the NFF is looking for local coaches. He's looking for a foreign coach. And I support the NFF because there is no Nigerian local coach that is good enough, whether home-based or foreign-based. That's one question. The other question is an attachment to it. When is football going to become profitable in Nigeria? We watch La Liga, we watch Premier League, we are always watching other people's own. Why can't we make it as successful? Here, we used to have stationery stores, we used to have all these big clubs. All of a sudden, you know, it's okay. People like Rufai here, who talk about, what is that your club? Raymond Stars. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, Raymond Stars, 2 stars. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, first, let me seize the opportunity to congratulate my bon and my mentor, Undeka Begwena, on his 65th birthday. I actually spoke with him, you know, he's an amazing guy. So I want to congratulate the Arise family and congratulations, Undeka. Yeah. I also want to thank the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. Thank you very much. His endorsement was very massive. I also thank the Honorable Minister for Sports, Senator Eno, and then the President of the Nigerian Football Federation, Ibrahim Gusso, for making that possible. I thank them. Then coming to your question, you know, first, let me talk about the indigenous and then the foreign coaches. Everybody that knows that I've always advocated for a foreign coach when I was president of NFF, and I had my reasons, you know. Even before I got into NFF, I observed very clearly too that the Nigerian coaches, they have possibly the requisite knowledge, technical ability, but it goes beyond technical ability in managing players. One thing that is quite elemental when you want to manage a player is that of respect. Do they have the respect for the coaches? That's a question for another day. You know, I've observed that, you know, and no matter how these players turned coaches have played, the current players possibly, and very possibly, do not have that kind of rest. I just know, and that's just one reason. But why I supported an indigenous coach in the last selection process was because I communed with the NFF, and I was made to understand that they didn't have the funding for a foreign coach. They actually wanted a foreign coach, but at that point, they didn't have the funding. So they needed to settle, and the transition at that point was, for it to be as seamless as possible, was for them to have a coach that was in the team of Pissarro that went to the finals of AFCON, and that was Finidi George. There was nothing to it, because if it was any other person that was there in that transitional period, would have said yes. They didn't have the money. I know why. It goes beyond just even respect. There are a lot of things. Like I said, all those things will be captured in my book, Dare to Dream, My Voyage in Football, coming out very soon by God's grace. So coming to your other question, you see, we've been talking about taking football to that level. We want to take football to that level, but there are some things that we need to be complemented. We have serious infrastructural deficits. sports infrastructure. So you don't want to go to the stadium and go to the toilet. You can't use the toilet. You can't even walk in the aisle. You can't. There are so many things that you cannot do. So it is a major, major problem. And these days that you're talking about, football has gone beyond digital. There are so many questions that need to be asked. So if you give me the opportunity, I'll be able to proffer solutions, because in FIFA and CAF, I play a very integral role in terms of sports infrastructure, in terms of what's called the cahier de charge. Cahier de charge is a French word that connotes condition to host. You must have certain, so we don't need to wait for a process, a bidding process for Nigeria to want to bid. If you go to Morocco, it's like plug and play, because they have everything. England today can host the World Cup. There are only 3 countries that can host the World Cup today: the US, Germany, and England. Because just like
US didn't do well with Copa America. They were fighting at the stadium. They had issues with ticketing.
So, it's crowd trouble. I'm talking about infrastructure and deficiency. So, what I want to say here is simple, if you give me some few minutes. Now, to make a process very, very transparent, my solution is this. We need basic infrastructure. It's not government or federal government. We are looking at a tripartite arrangement between the federal government, the state government, and the Ministry of Youth. How do we do this? Get an audit company to do an audit of all the facilities we have in Nigeria as it is. Then group all these states. For example, the states that have an appreciable level of infrastructure, sports infrastructure, maybe Lagos State, Edo State, Oyo State, Rivers, Delta, Kaduna, those ones can be in Cluster A. What do I mean by Cluster A states? You must have the basic to host a tournament. You must have a stadium between 20 to 60,000 capacity. If it's 20,000 or even 15, you can host a tournament. Then you have 4 practice pitches, 4 training sites. These 4 training sites they must not be within the confines of the stadium, but maybe 50 kilometers radius. What do we do with that? Those training sites can be used for youth development beyond training for matches. I give you an example. When they played the FA Cup finals a couple of weeks ago in Lagos, I was privileged to be invited, and I watched. And guess what? It was El Academy that won. And if you see the kind of football they played, 60% of those boys were from the IDP camp. What does that tell you? Countless talent in this country. So let me go back to my solution. So if you have those states, maybe 8 states in Cluster A, what do they need to do? The arrangement will be between the state government, the Federal Ministry of Sports, and a major contractor. Because the problem we have in Nigeria is not facilities, it's that of maintenance. We hosted Nigeria 99. We used about 8 stadia, I think. We hosted Nigeria 2009. We hosted Koja 2003. We hosted Ghana, Nigeria 2002. We had those infrastructure. So it's not the infrastructure. It's the maintenance culture that we lack in this country. So to remedy this is what I'm telling you. If we do this, trust me, in the next few years, Nigeria will be a haven of talent. And you will see them. We don't need to be watching Saka, Musiala, Zixi, all these Nigerians, Akonji. You will see them ready-made in this country. Because I know that. I was in NFA for 8 years and went around the country. And we saw countless talent. So these 6 states, we have 4 training sites. Maybe you use a company like Deloitte, use KPMG, to do this audit. So the process will be transparent. So they will not categorize the first 6. The second 6 will be in the next cluster. Up to the 6th cluster, Nigeria will like healthy competition. Every state wants to be in Cluster A because you have certain conditions. And once you have that, you'll be in that Cluster A. So what is the maintenance culture? Instead of allowing individuals to maintain, if the states want, if they have an arrangement with the people that build those facilities to maintain it for 10 years, it's okay. Otherwise, it can be centrally maintained. For example, JB, Julius Berger, maybe Peculiar Consult, maybe iTech, They will do an open bid. Once they ascertain that this company, maybe Julius Berger will not be made to maintain all the stadium and these facilities in Cluster A, and deduct from either from their FAC or from their IGRO directly. Right. Because it is a problem we have in this country, that of maintenance. Then you have the Cluster B, the Cluster C, everybody. But guess what? If we are able within 3-4 years to have even 3 clusters of 6 each, which is 18 times 4, you'll be talking about almost 80 training facilities in Nigeria. Right. Guess what? Those training facilities will churn out talent that will be unimaginable to you.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked, extensively about the opportunities for the local league in Nigeria, and it would be just great if we could see that investment. And what is South Africa doing well, where they're able to turn around $100 million? Of course, let's not talk about the foreign leagues. It would be great to see we have such great talents identified. But let me say congratulations are in order. The last time you were here, we spoke about the fact that next year you'll be running again for your seat, representing Nigeria on the FIFA Council. And you have gotten that endorsement from the federal government. The president has endorsed you from a statement released by his spokesperson, Nigerian Ngelale, saying that Nigeria ought to retain that seat, and they were endorsing you for that position. What does that endorsement do for your prospects, and what does it mean to you? I know the last time you were here, you were quite hopeful that the president would endorse.
Yeah, it's very, very massive. Trust me, a presidential endorsement is very massive. It sends a message to your would-be competitor. It's very positive. That's why I say kudos to the president. It's huge. And I don't think this is sui generis to me. The president is very keen on any Nigerian that is in that kind of situation, that wants that kind of endorsement. Of course, but I say for mine, I am truly and really grateful and thankful to the president, the Minister for Sports, and also my predecessor, Ibrahim Gusso.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
Number 1 would be, how can Africa take the highest job in the football ecosystem? The last time we have anybody that was close was Issa Hayatou. Yeah. I think at some point he was even temporary or acting FIFA chair while the Bohala was going on. How can Africa take the highest rate? That's one target. Secondly, Nigeria might not qualify you. I'm telling you honestly, in your time, we had that problem of qualification. It's not like a proper constant course.
No, it's not. Yeah.
So Nigeria might not qualify. As of today, before the games, we don't even have a coach as we speak. Please, are you talking to your successor? What are we doing? Because people are scared. And also the problem of indiscipline in the team. I want you to talk about Osimhen's case and Finidi's case. Till today, we are setting a bad precedence. No formal apology between Osimhen and Finidi. And we've just allowed that matter slide.
You see, let me dwell on this Osimhen zone. It was quite unfortunate, that ranting was so unfortunate. I put a call through to Osimhen, and I made him to understand that I didn't like what he did. And when he spoke to him, he spoke with remorse. And I told him to channel his remorse to the appropriate quarters, which is for him to go and, I spoke to him. Osimhen, that character, Osimhen has always come to me, we discovered Osimhen. It was during my first tenure. In fact, that was the first trophy that I won as president of NFF in 2015, when he led us to Chile, and he was the highest goal scorer. He had everything, Osimhen, I don't know what went wrong. It was just a moment of madness, so to speak, using that word. I'm very sorry to use that. But that is not the Osimhen that I know. That's not Osimhen comes to me as a very humble boy. To me, I don't know to others, and we've maintained that relationship. So I believe at the appropriate time, if he has not done so, I believe he will do so. Because in this sanity, Osimhen is just growing. Finidi was the best winger at a point. When Finidi was playing for the Super Eagles was number 5 in the world. Yes. Finidi has won the Champions League. Finidi has won the FA Cup. He has won everything. He was one of the highest paid in Real Betis. So Osimhen should, not just Osimhen, the other players should also see their coaches, their leaders. They should accord them some appreciable level of respect, because it's not easy when you lead, because everything falls at your deck. So then.
Okay. The other question I asked, we might not qualify. We don't have coach now as we speak. We might not qualify.
No. Listen, you should look at.
I'm just saying because I want us to qualify.
We don't want to. I believe the NFF do not want to make the mistake of just rushing and hiring a coach. And I believe they are working in strong consonance with the ministry. So they don't want to make a mistake. And I believe they are doing quite a lot right now in ensuring that they get a coach.
Do you know if they have a good?
I am not going to. No. Now it's like an emergency situation. Okay. So an emergency situation needs an emergency response, and I believe that's what they are trying to do right now. It's not easy, but I believe they will do that. But again, it's not. If you look at our time, the first time we qualified for the World Cup, we had 2 games to spare in 20 to Russia. This last one, we did not lose. We did not. If there was we drew against Ghana in Ghana. We also drew against Ghana in Nigeria. It was just that away and home goal that knocked us. But I still take responsibility, you know. So, but then we should be hopeful, we should be prayerful, and we should work closely with the Nigerian Football Federation. Anything can still happen. What we need to do as a country is just to, as a team, is just to come together, ensure that we win all our matches. Let the players be in the right psychological frame mind, the mental state, and the right energy. I believe we're able to win all our matches and pray, like we always do, for like a Benin, to beat South Africa in Benin. And that's it. And I believe we'll go through, you know.
The first question, when will Africa, you know, take that rifle in terms of FIFA politics? Can you be FIFA president? You're laughing.
No. Listen, let me tell you something.
If you come, you don't go down.
I'm a council member who are just 37. People should understand what it means to be a member of the council. You're among the most important, every football decision globally today, you're part of it. As I live here now, there's a meeting. There are various meetings. So it's enough for now. Everything that you do is defined by our God Almighty. So if it's God's wish, possibly, very possibly we'll get there. But if this is where God wants me to end in football administration, I thank God Almighty. But let me tell you, it doesn't have to be me. Someone else in Africa can be president of FIFA someday. But I can tell you, Gianni, forget his color. Gianni is a full-blooded African. He loves Africa beyond what you can think. Okay. And Patrice is there now, you know, as CAF president. If there's anybody who wants to push, maybe after Gianni leaves, it might be Patrice. Anything can happen. But the truth is, never say never. And you don't just bank, you know. To what end?
Let's talk about this, your re-election first. President Tinubu has issued a letter of support. Now, what does that translate into in real terms? Because, I mean, countries don't just say we support this person on the pages of Nigerian newspapers. You know, has that support been translated into concrete steps by the Nigerian government, maybe supporting you with campaign, maybe putting a team together that will help you to go around and campaign, and then maybe they will put something in your pocket to facilitate the re-election? Just take us through the protocols, what it means.
See, before the president come out to make an endorsement, there are a lot of things going on, you know, behind the scene, and it's not for the public at the moment. But I can tell you...
We have the right to know.
No, of course, I can tell you a lot is going on. On my own, I've done about 13 countries already. I need to cover about 40 countries between now and the end of November or December, you know. I've done about 13, and I've got a couple of endorsements, and by God's grace, it's looking good. And with the presidential endorsement, and when the president endorses, it's not just limited to that. There's a lot going on. The Ministry of Youth and Sports, Ministry of Youth, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and some public-spirited Nigerians that have tentacles beyond the shores of Nigeria. So it's something very, very big. So the FIFA Council is huge. And I'm happy the government appreciate the fact that they need a Nigerian in that council. It is huge. Trust me, it's a council that if you go, you will know that you are a Nigerian. Because I can tell you, for example, when we went for the World Cup finals, it was only my wife and I that were the Nigerians in the entire VVIP lounge. Just 2 Nigerians. And I'm telling you, we are about 43 heads of states. So assuming I was in the council, there wouldn't have been any Nigerian in that, even though the president then was invited, but he didn't show up. So I was, and my wife, were the only 2 Nigerians in the VVIP. So it is very important. Nigeria is the biggest black nation. Of every 5 people in the black people, 1 is a Nigerian. And forget I'm a believer in this country. I'm a believer in this country, and I believe that someday it will just be like we'll wake up one morning and there'll be a lot of transformation in this country. So it's not just I don't believe in negative energy. We should think about, because it's a country with huge potentials. I'm just giving you a recipe, and I'm just giving you a direction on what we can do to have a lot of talent, have a proper sports infrastructure. You can call me, I'll put down in the proper design, send to all the states, and let us take it from there. Because, for example, you were talking about the league. The lower leagues can use some of those training facilities as their stadium. The lower leagues, the second division, the third division, provided they are very well maintained. So we don't need to say we want to host 2029 Nations Cup, for example. The moment CAF is going to come, it's regrettable to say that only one stadium in Nigeria that has the FIFA audit, that you can play any FIFA event. And that's with you.
So the amount of money spent on the MK Abiola Stadium in Abuja, you see, let me tell you, because they become political rally grounds.
Let me tell you, it's not beyond political rally ground. Let me tell you something. Once say carry the charge, condition to host. They are basic prerequisite. They are basic prerequisite. If you miss 1 out of 10, you'll be taken out of that bucket.
Yeah.
You'll be taken out of that basket that you cannot. So you must have everything. And the only stadium right now is Oyo Stadium that can host any. But right now, I believe the NFF is making real effort, concerted effort in ensuring that they get audit. Then, once Teslim is completed, you can see what's going on in Teslim, the stadium. The governor has been Teslim.
But what's the capacity? What's the capacity of Teslim, though? Because
I think it's about, no, you need about between
20,
15
15 to 60.
15 to 60 million. Because when they go for World Cup matches, you see, for example, if a country like Trinidad and Tobago is playing Turks and Caicos, you don't expect them to play in National Stadium, Abuja. You expect them to play in a small stadium. That's how the World Cup is, Well, when Argentina is playing against Brazil, they'll go to that. You see, nothing you see about, draws, there's a fluke. Everything is well orchestrated.
So if you are saying it's just only one stadium that is certified, look at the fact that we have about 4 teams that 3 to 4 teams that qualify for CAF. So how do they get to play? And what about, because I want to give credit to Mr. Shoname. He's done a good job with this.
No, his facilities are, you don't want to tell me about. What about, there's another one in Osun State. I think the NFL president was there with his team, There are a lot of academies, there are a lot of, here and there in Nigeria. Kule Zone is fantastic, but you still need the certification.
Can it be used for tournament?
I don't know if it has applied for certification. And those are things that we can facilitate. Okay. But what we are doing right now is to work with the Nigerian Board Federation in ensuring that we have the Leko Salami in Ibadan. We have the Teslim Balogun. We have the, Gbemoda Stadium. A couple of stadiums. And of course, the governor of Delta is building, if they want to build something very, very massive in Warri. Warri is the home of football, whether you like it or not. I keep saying that. You're a Warri boy too. Yes, and so he wants to build something very, something out of this. Warri Township Stadium. They have to. That's the traditional site. Like when they renovated Wembley Stadium, they went back to Wembley and renovated. They didn't take it outside Wembley. That is what it's known for. And again, if you look at it, Lagos State, for example, they are building about 8 practice pitches, 8 training mini stadia, which can be used as practice pitches. So Lagos is definitely within that, my probable cluster 1. Oyo, they have about 6. Edo, they have about 6. Yes, beyond Liberty. Edo have about 6. So those are the only 3 states right now. If they want to do a proper Oyo, they have just about 2, 3. So if you come to this, the way I'm classifying it, you find out that in the next 4 years, there will be healthy competitions among states to be in those my first, second clusters. And once you have that, you have over 80 to 100 pitches in this country.
Okay. At this point, we'd like to thank you very much, Amaju Pinnick, and also wish you well with your FIFA re-election bid. Maybe it's at some point later you will tell us some of the inner processes about the support that will come from the Nigerian government. We wish you.